everyone. Myself Dr. Pallavi Ghosh, Assistant Professor, Agriculture Entomology from School of Agriculture Sciences and Technology, RIMT University. So, topic of my today's talk is commercial beekeeping. I don't think there is anyone who have never seen honeybee in their surroundings or have not heard about the term honeybee. Of course, not because honeybee is just an insect, but we all are familiar with honeybees because of their significance and the benefit which we get from the products that is extracted from the hives of honeybee. So, if honeybee is known to all of us, then beekeeping is also not a new term, as beekeeping has been practiced from ancient time, and there is a mention of honey in Mahabharata or Ramayana also. So, beekeeping, it can be called as apiculture, which is derived from Latin word called apis, which means bees. So, bees can be defined as, beekeeping can be defined as an art and science of rearing and managing honeybees in a box called beehive for the production of various bee products. And we can also define as your beekeeping as an industry which provides valuable honey, bee wax and other various products and pollination services of honeybees. So, honeybees are very important for us. Why important? Honeybees, they provide us number of valuable products which has numerous medicinal properties. That's why for thousands of years man has kept honeybees, reared honeybees colonies to get these valuable products from honeybees. Now honeybees, they are social insects, they live in a colony, they work together in a well organized manner with well demarcated division of labor. That's why they are very popular and economically beneficial insect. Besides that, they are the primary source of pollination. As we all know, there are number of crops which are crop pollinated and they need external agent to pollinate themselves. So, bees are those pollinators which will increase the yield up to 20 to 25% as compared to natural pollination. So, it is rightly said by the Einstein, if the bees disappears from the surface of the earth, then man would have no more than 4 years to live. No more bees, no more pollinations, no more plants, no more animals and of course no more man. So, if I talk about the classification of honeybees, honeybees, they belong to kingdom Animalia, phylum Arthropoda, class Insecta, order Hymenoptera, family Apidae and genus Apis. So, there are 5 important species of honeybees which are of great importance, and out of these 4 belongs to genus Apis. So, these are the important honeybee species which is of more economic importance: Apis dorsata, Apis cerana indica, Apis mellifera and Apis florea. Now, Apis dorsata, Apis cerana indica and Apis florea are the indigenous bee species. They are present in our country, whereas Apis mellifera is called as European bee as it has been introduced in India in 1962 from Europe. And out of these 4 species, Apis dorsata and florea, they are the wild species, so very difficult to domesticate them. So, beekeepers, they generally hived Apis cerana indica or Apis mellifera because they can be easily domesticated. And besides these species, there is another bee which is called as dammer bee or stingless bee. Now, as its name suggests, it is stingless bee. As we all know, bee stings, so we are just have fear of honeybees. But this bee, this also produce honey, but that won't sting. So, Trigona iridipanus and Melipona, these are the 2 important species of dammer bee which are present in our country in abundance. And the honey of dammer bee is reported to be of very high medicinal value as compared to the honey of Apis species. And they have also the importance that they also play important role in the pollination of various crops, just like your other apis species. They gather plant resins, which is called as propolis, which used for the construction of their nest. Now their honey is dark in color, bitter in taste, but that is rich in medicinal properties. Moreover, their honey yield is low, that is only 100 grams per colony per year, but if we just ignore that yield, the little bit of honey is rich in medicinal value. Then coming to the important species that belongs to genus Apis, and these are more prevalently used by the farmers or beekeepers. So Apis dorsata is also called as rock bee or giant bee. So why it is called as giant bee? Because of its largest size among all the species of Apis genus. They build single comb, open comb on large branches of trees and rocks, and because of its large size, it also produces large quantity of honey. Now these are wild bees, as I already discussed this thing, so very difficult to domesticate because they are very ferocious in nature. Talking about their honey yield, it ranges from 50 to 80 kg per colony per year. Coming to next species of Apis, that is Apis cerana indica, which is also called as Asian bee, Indian bee, that is medium sized bee, and their hive consists of several parallel combs which is constructed in the cavities of tree trunks and earthen pots. They are easily domesticated because they are very calm bee, and their honey yields they yield honey up to 10 to 15 kg per colony per year. Next is Apis mellifera, the most popular species of genus Apis, and this is widely reared and kept by the beekeepers. This is also called as European bee. Its character are somewhat similar to Cerana indica. Earlier beekeepers, they used to rear Apis cerana indica species because it is indigenous species, but due to the attack of thigh sac brood virus disease, and after the introduction of Apis mellifera in our country, beekeepers, they start rearing Apis mellifera and it gets successfully established here. It is also medium sized bee and introduced in many parts of world along with India, and it is also highly domesticated bee. Its honey yield ranges from 30 to 40 kg per colony per year, which is quite more than the honey yield of Apis cerana indica. The last one is Apis florea, that is called as little bee, which is small in size. That's why its name is little bee. That builds single small combs in bushes and hedges. Honey yield is very poor, that is only 0.5 to 1 kg per colony per year. So a normal colony of honey bee has 3 types of castes: queen bee, drone bee or worker bee. So it contains a single queen bee, few hundreds of drones and thousands of worker bee in a single colony. Now beekeeping, as I already told you, has been practiced from the ancient times. Traditional beekeepers earlier used to extract honey from the natural hives, or they can extract honeys from the hives like wooden boxes. They can kept their bees in wooden boxes. So traditional beekeeping in India was mainly forest based, as mostly the tribal farmers, they were involved in it. The farmers, they have been keeping Indian bee because it is a good pollinator and that is also acclimatized to the Indian climatic conditions. And Sundarban forest of West Bengal, they are rich in rock bee, and organic honey from these forests is in great demand. Then after the introduction of that western bee in 1960s, that was introduced in the foothills of Himachal Pradesh and agricultural plains of Punjab, that becomes successfully established here. Now it has become popular among commercial beekeepers because of its higher honey yield as compared to Apis cerana indica. Then it starts spreading to Himachal Pradesh, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Kerala, Karnataka and Maharashtra. And in 1980s, Khadi and Village Industries Commission that was established for the promotion of modern beekeeping through various schemes. So now beekeeping is practiced on a large scale in several states of India, including Haryana, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka. So there are two methods of beekeeping. One is indigenous method and one is modern method. So earlier people use this indigenous method, which is an old method, and two types of hives are used in these methods: wall or fixed hive, which is purely natural type of comb because it is prepared by bees themselves on the walls or trees, and beekeepers used to extract honey from their natural hives. And another one is movable hive. It comprises of wooden boxes or earthen pitchers. Beekeepers, they used to keep the bees in these wooden boxes or earthen pitchers. So traditional beekeepers, they simply catch the swarms from the trees, bushes, etc. and transfer them to the wooden boxes or earthen pitchers for their bee products. Then comes the concept of modern method of apiculture, which is based on bee space theory. Now modern beehives, these were designed on the concept of bee space theory, which is given by Lorenzo Loren Langstroth in 1851. So bee space is nothing but it is the optimum distance which is to be left in between two adjacent comb surfaces in a beehive, which is essential for normal movement and functioning of the bees. So in general, for Apis mellifera, we use Langstroth hive, and for Apis cerana indica, we use Bureau of Indian Standards hive A and B type. Now the question comes, who can do beekeeping? Is there any special person or expertise is required to do beekeeping, or anyone can do beekeeping? The answer is anyone who has undergone education and training in rearing and management of beekeeping. They can simply adopt beekeeping on a small scale, and after that they can adopt it on a large scale. It includes farmers, women, girls, retired persons, unemployed people, differently abled persons. Anyone can do beekeeping who has some interest in the world of bee, who want to rear bee and want to have additional source of income. So there are two, not even two, even three types of beekeepers. One is commercial beekeepers. Now people who are doing beekeeping for the production and sale of honey or other bee products on a large scale, they comes under commercial beekeepers. Then there are some sideliners, those who are doing beekeeping as a side business for additional source of income. They are sideliners. And obviously the third one is hobbyist. Some people, they adopt beekeeping as a hobby. So anyone who want to do beekeeping, who has interest in beekeeping, they just take education and training from the recognized institute and start their own apiary on a small scale. Now I have talked about commercial beekeeping, which is about production of honey and other products, then sale of these products on a large scale. So somehow your commercial beekeeping is associated with the honeybee products. Means we are basically require these products. That's why we adopt this beekeeping, and this is the source of income, these products which we are getting from this beekeeping venture. So let's just know about some of the products, what are their uses. So first one and the important one is honey, which everybody knows. Nowadays people are substituting sugar with the honey because of its nutritional value. They know the properties honey contains, that's why they substitute sugar with the honey. This is nothing but a natural sweet substance which is produced by bee from nectar of plants through some enzymatic activities, regurgitation and water evaporation. So honey can be used as a food that can considered as complete food because it's a nutritious, very nutritious in nature. It contains many digestible sugars, vitamins, minerals, acids, enzymes, even water, and it is having number of medicinal properties as it is used to prevent cold, cough and fever. So if I talk about the composition of honey, it contains approximately 39% of levulose, 21% of dextrose, 9% of maltose and other sugars, then 2% of enzymes and other pigments, and obviously last but not the least is the water, which is present in 18%. So next important product is beeswax. Now this is a mixture of complex organic compounds which is secreted by the wax glands of young bees, which is located on the underside of the last 4 abdominal segments, that is 4th to 7th abdominal segments. So bee wax is used to make number of medicines or confectionery items, cosmetics and polish, as I can say it is used in making candles, used in various kinds of creams, lotions, lipstick, and bees itself, they secrete bee wax for the formation of their comb cells. So comb foundation sheet can be formed with the help of this beeswax. Then coming to another important product of honeybee, that is royal jelly. That is a very important food for the larva of honeybee, and this is the granular secretion of young worker bees which is 4 to 10 days old, and these are produced by the hypopharyngeal glands which is present in the head. So royal jelly that can be fed to the larva which is destined to become the queen throughout its life cycle, whereas other larval bees or other larvae, they are fed only 3 days on royal jelly. After that they are fed on bee bread. So royal jelly has number of nutritious value and other important uses, like it can be used in treatment of diabetics, osteoporosis. It also helps in healing wounds and boost immunity. The next important product is propolis. This is a gummy reddish brown substance which is obtained by the honeybees from resinous substance which is found on trees or buds of plants. This is also called as bee glue. So after collecting this propolis from the plants or trees, they mix it with saliva and bee wax and used it to just seal the cracks and crevices present in their hives. That is also have some medicinal properties. It is used to treat cough and throat irritation too. Then bee venom. Bee venom is present in the sting of honeybee. This is bitter colorless liquid which contains proteins and number of vitamins which causes local inflammation when your bee stings. Bee venom is given as a shot for rheumatoid arthritis, nerve pain, multiple sclerosis, desensitizing the people who are allergic to bee sting. Then coming to the component of bee venom. Now it contains 30 to 50% of melatonin, 20 to 20% of phospholipase A, 3% of apamine, 2% of hyaluronidase, 2% of mast cell degranulating peptide, and less than 1% of histamine. Then there are some other important products like pollen. Pollen is very fine to coarse powdery substance which comprises pollen grain, and that is collected by the forager worker bees. And pollen that contains also high levels of nutrients like vitamins, proteins and amino acids, that contains antibacterial agents. It can be acts as immunity booster. It is food, and that is provided as food supplement in the dearth period to the beehives. Then bee brood. Bee brood is nothing, it mainly consists of egg, larva and pupa, and in a country like Africa, honey hunters, they used to eat this bee brood. Even in Asia, number of bee broods of various species like Floria, Sirana, that can be eaten up by the tribal people. Then there is, after looking into all these aspects, beekeeping is a secondary source of income, and I must say that can be adopted as a profitable business. There are a lot of reasons why one should adopt beekeeping as a venture or enterprise, because it is associated with the production of beehive products. Now as we all know, honeybee is the sole source of honey and beeswax, and other bee products, namely your propolis, pollen, bee venom, everything that can be produced by your beekeeper only after the adoption of beekeeping. Then after adopting beekeeping, one can utilize and harvest the nectar and pollen of highly nectariferous plants like mustards, thoria, then eucalyptus, ber, jamun, amla, plectranthus. There are a number of plants which provide lot of nectar and pollen to the beekeepers and bees. So about 30 to 50 kg of honey can be produced by 1 hectare of land containing these nectariferous plants. Then one can enhance the yield through bee pollination. If someone is associated with the growing crops in their field, then beekeeping will give them dual benefits. What kind of dual benefits? That it will also give enhancement of yield through bee pollination. About 20 to 25% of yield is increasing because of bee pollination if we compared it with the natural pollination. Then, as I already discussed the importance of various bee products, this can be considered as apitherapy for cure of various diseases. Now bee products, they have a number of medicinal properties. They act as medicinal agent. For example, like honey, that contains antimicrobial substances and it is very helpful to cure the respiratory infection, or it is very important against heart disorders, and side by side that is a rapid source of energy. Likewise, royal jenny is also anti-tumorous, antimicrobial and very nutritious product. Propolis, that can be used for the treatment of various skin diseases, and of course bee venom, that is used to make various medicines which is used for curing muscle disorder. Then the potential generation of income per colony per year is 3,000 to 4,000 annually, only through honey production and colony multiplication. And the most interesting thing is that only about 2 main trained manpower can handle the apiary of 100 colonies. Then beekeeping doesn't demand large area. The farmers of very small land holdings, or you can say landless farmers, they can go for beekeeping because it does not require large area. Small area, after having small area, one can easily do beekeeping. Then there is no requirement of heavy physical work. Even women and children can perform various activities of beekeeping. Then there is no requirement of huge investment. Only input is very low and it provides more an immediate return as compared to other agro-based industries. And last but not the least, it also contributes significantly to the Indian economy. So looking into all these prospects, I must say beekeeping is a very profitable business and one can adopt beekeeping on a commercial scale. If anybody wants an additional source of income, that person can easily take information about beekeeping and just take training from good and reputed recognized institution to start a small scale apiary, and after that he can easily expand it to on a large scale. So nowadays government is also providing number of schemes and loans for starting beekeeping for those who are unemployed. So the person who is unemployed, who has interest in beekeeping, or those who want to have some additional income besides their own income, they can go for beekeeping. That is a very good venture. It requires very less investment and it provides very immediate returns. Thank you so much.